How are we? The frame all nice and square. Good enough.
Look how nice your hair looks.
Oh yeah, I forgot to put a hat on today. Alright, we are back. Back. Thank you. Hello. It's down. Please, everybody. I wonder how the dogs will be received. I think everybody likes dogs. Hello, yes. Alright, down. Down.
She's like, how do I fit in here though?
This is
the
weird.
problem.
Alright, we are off. Take a photo. She's cute.
Nesting.
Oh, far out. What do I do with this? That there. Mint. Alright, welcome back. Alright, well, another week. 2 weeks gone.
Yeah, another 2 weeks gone.
Yeah, well. So, yeah. We're just back with another yesterday yell, I guess.
Yeah. I don't think we did anything from the last one. We've literally worked.
Yeah.
And
come home.
I just spent a week just sleeping.
Just munged out.
Just in bed the whole entire time. Not even sick, just in bed.
Yep. Recovering from night shift, I guess.
Yeah.
That is a thing.
Yeah.
Cool. Alright, well, what else? Do we just hop on into it?
I reckon you jump in, just maybe give some background, because I can imagine, because they're quite underground.
Yeah.
So a lot of people probably don't know
this band. Yeah. Yep. That's.
Yeah.
So it's sort of not. It's not really an album as such. It's more just a period of music from a band, I guess. Well, it is 2 albums, I guess. But it's sort of, for me, I've already spoken about it. Sorry, I'm going to remember about this fucking microphone. Yeah, so for me, it was like I was introduced to these guys off a mixed CD, pretty much. And it was this music, it was already probably a few years old by that stage.
Definitely would
so
have. I can't imagine you would have gotten it.
No, it was already a few years old by that stage. So, and now that I listen back to it, like even just today, just sort of revising what it was that I wanted to do. It's like, you can definitely hear some like old school, like metal stuff.
Like
present in their songs. So So the band Underoath, but most people probably might not have heard of them.
They probably know like Sleepwave. Is that Spencer's other?
Yeah, something like that.
And then he has a new one now. I can't remember what it is.
Some pop stuff.
Some indie
pop stuff.
Fucking stuff. What's it now?
Spencer.
I don't know. I'm not going to be able to find it.
Yeah. That's
Slow Tide.
Yeah. Can't say I've actually listened.
I heard like an Instagram reel when I was done.
Very cool. So we're just mainly talking about their first 2 sort of EPs. So like I said, I'm a little bit unprepared, but at the same time, it's just going to be off the cuff feelings.
Yeah. Can I
feelings, no facts.
veer off? So in skateboarding. I don't know. Did you ever watch skateboarding clips and stuff when you?
Oh yeah.
Whenever. Did you ever see them putting their hand over the lens or anything like that?
Yeah.
When they're skate and they just put their hand over. That was their way of being that's where you cut it.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was their way being so they could just skim through the feed, and then if they saw a hand there, they'd be oh, that's where the clip is.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a cool way, instead of stopping, starting and being what video is it?
I have seen a few strats for that.
Yeah.
Just because you got to get in, and sometimes I'm just well, where do I cut it? Because sometimes it'll just be talking flat out, and then I'm it would be a good place to cut that, but it's hard to cut that because there's so much noise. And so I don't know. I don't even really know where to start with it, but so Active Depression, a short little EP really in the way of songs. Actually, something that because it's something that I didn't realize. I'll have to go back here, I think. In here, just reading about it. So there was actually 16 tracks on the actual EP. That was something I didn't actually know. I knew there was heaps of radio silence, but because my was probably not so legit copy of mixed Underoath songs. I wouldn't have known.
I remember that purely because when I was like downloading music and like making my iTunes thing, I just got rid of them. I was just like, why did they do this? And it was like, so it had like a secret track kind of thing, I guess, from back in the day. But yeah, it was weird.
But I'm pretty sure, like, because the version that I had was like, it was like 17 minutes long or some shit like
chop
that.
and change.
Like it was just, it just went from 6 to 7 in the actual, well, it was actually song 6, it just was extended out. But yeah, so I didn't actually know that. So that was interesting just looking back on that now. And yeah, so it's pretty much from then till now, there's only one original member? Is it one?
Yeah.
So Aaron Gillespie?
Yeah.
The drummer?
Yeah. So you could probably say this is a review of the Dallas Taylor era.
Yep.
And before Aaron started singing.
Yeah, because that would have come on the next
on the Changing of Times, I believe, is when he started doing that.
Yep. So where do I start? That was about it, really. Another little thing. I don't know if you've got it up or you could bring it up on there. The first song, Heart of Stone, that I just sort of found kind of funny as soon as you like play it.
I fucking love that album artwork too.
Yeah.
It's like a rune, and I really like it.
Yeah, so that like creepy as shit laughing. That was very wild for my ears to hear. I don't know, I would have been probably 14 or 15, I reckon, when I first heard that. And that came out in 99.
Yeah, 99. So 5 years after they actually did release it. Yeah,
so that's a bit wild, really. And then at that point, I'm pretty sure, because I think I said to you earlier, I'm pretty sure that mix CD had like Define the Great Line like songs on it. Like the intro track to that.
It would have been a couple of leaks that old Fathead did. Before the album actually came out, because that was like a heavily leaked album back in the day.
Probably for a good thing too. That was like probably an awesome leak.
I remember not wanting to hear it and being forced upon.
Just save it for me. But so that was just interesting fact as well. I don't know if it was ever a thing. Might be something to ask them one day or try and get. They might be out there. But that creepy light laugh as well. That I just straight away.
Like one of their grandmas or something.
It's probably like a mimic of like SpongeBob, and SpongeBob actually started in '99 as well.
Yeah, could have been then. All right.
I don't know if that's some sort of weird coincidence or not.
Because that is like a lower toned SpongeBob laugh.
So just creepy as shit.
And that like definitely around, well, probably even, if they did do that, then that's like before the era where everyone used to put like samples from movies, like Parkway with Killing, is it Killing with a Smile? Oh no, whatever, the Yippee-Ki-Yay, motherfucker. So and Devil Wears Prada did that as well. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
everyone did.
And they probably, it's definitely not SpongeBob, but it would just be like a what you would call it. They've just done it. They've just recorded it themselves and just been creepy. But so that's cool.
One thing that I did want to kind of ask you about: what had you heard before like this Under Oath that would have been even remotely close to this heavy?
No, I don't know. I honestly don't know. No, it would have just been like those real mainstream like metal bands or new metal bands.
Exactly.
So it would have been like bits and pieces of Slipknot, and that was just like frowned upon in my house. So
devil worshippers.
Pretty much. It would have been like things, a little bit of Slipknot. What else was I going to say? Like it'd just be System of a Down and stuff like that. Just like real super mainstream.
So what made you like? How did? Because if I found what you said about 14, 15. If I found a 15-year-old on the street and was like, check this out, and played them this,
just out of nowhere,
I'd be arrested.
Well, it was us. It was just our friends group, I guess. Like I don't know how we got into.
But like that's like heavy as hell. Like that's especially like for a young age. Like I can understand like System of the Down because it's got the singing and stuff, and Yeah.
I don't know how I managed to get it. Like, really, I can't remember the actual
But
conversation.
like, it's just more the sinking in. Like, how did you be like, oh, yep, this is definitely something that I enjoy.
Yeah. I have no idea. I think it was like there were some like actual. I mean, that's just flat out heavy anyway.
Yeah,
but just
yeah.
like I don't know. There were a few like catchy tunes on there anyway.
Yeah. I
between
definitely...
between the two EPs.
Yeah.
I'd have to like bring it up exactly because like I am shocking and that's the same thing. I didn't know what song titles were at all. I just listened to like what was on my little mix CD.
And like thinking back on it, did you have a favorite back then? And do you have like listening to it like recently? Do you have like I remember I jammed this, or like even instead of a song like an EP? Like was Cries of the Past? Did you like more, or did you like?
It probably was Cries of the Past more, but yeah, it was because it was that actual song, wasn't it? I think was that the song or was it the last? The last. Yeah, and that was the one that, the other local band covered. So it would have been that, and I'm pretty sure that was like one of those songs where it was like, oh, that's some cool like some tapping stuff on the guitar because it's the same thing. I was already into guitar, and that was like. I was like, oh shit, I can actually play that.
That's
like,
what I was going to bring up as well. I was going to say, because
more than that good.
Like, Active Depression is definitely more kind of the thrash metal-y.
Yeah, I was going to say the same.
Kind of virgin on the deathcore kind of side of things. Does it have breakdowns? They don't really even have. They go a little bit slower in some parts, but I think
there's
it's
just
more
like
just like a song progression.
It's almost like super repetitive, just like chuggy riffs.
Yeah,
yeah. Because like all those albums, what's the shortest song on that album? Like
6 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes 50 is Heart of Stone.
So I mean, they're well drawn out.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
But yeah, so like obviously, Cries of the Past because it was more guitar focused, kind of.
Yeah, probably.
Had you ever heard? I don't know what it's called when you do the on the frets.
Yeah, like tapping.
Yeah. Is it just called tapping?
Yeah.
It doesn't have any like.
It's tapping.
All right. And was that do you think that would maybe be the first time you would have heard that?
Nah. There's plenty of other like YouTube shit on that around that time. Plenty of other stuff that was tapping.
Yeah.
And you got Thunderstruck and stuff like that. Like.
Yeah. But like, would you have heard that? Because I can't imagine your parents being too hard out into.
Well, that's radio. There's some radio stuff. But yeah.
All right.
You know, sneak the devil in where you can.
Yeah. That's the thing. He's always lurking around that corner.
There's somewhere, mate.
The only thing I wanted to talk about, like this is all you, but I just wanted to talk about how creepy Watch Me Die is.
Yeah.
How I've always said the creepiness is what like does it for me, and just the creepiness of the start of Watch Me Die was like what got me, and that was my introduction of it, and I just wanted to be like, yep. Yeah. The creepiness that's happened over the past albums.
Michael's creepiness.
It's snuck its way in there as well, and that's probably where our interweaving happens. Is like it's got everything else in there that you like, but then it's also got that little creepiness in there for me.
And I think like it's sort of cringy as well. But like I remember like showing people and just being like, look how heavy this shit is. Like trying to be like, I don't know, just tough, elitist. This is way heavier than your shit, and it's not on the radio.
I used to do that all the time. Yeah. Guy in music class, he was a drummer, and he listened to Slipknot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like the drummer of Slipknot was obviously like crazy, and I was like, but shit, that's like, this is definitely the better stuff.
Yeah. But, do you want to play it?
What one? Watch Me Die.
Yeah.
I can do that gladly.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Watch Me Die.
Yeah, that's creepy.
That's great. Unholy altar. Anyway, it's Satan. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Looking back now, what do you think of Dallas's vocals compared to Spencer's? If you were to,
I don't know. I was definitely a fan at the time, but then like Spencer's screaming like on the Define the Great Line is, I reckon that's one of those like
peak
sort of like sounds. Like you can't. I don't know if you can. Underoath can beat that at that point, even themselves. Do you know? Like,
no.
But like, so yeah, I don't know. Like it's just different because of the style, I guess. But I did like it. I was always like, I thought at the time until I actually heard like their newer stuff at that time, I was like, I definitely enjoy their older stuff more than I'm Only Chasing Safety album.
Oh,
stuff
really?
At that time.
Oh, okay.
But it was one of those things where I had to like get into I'm Only Chasing Safety
really?
a little bit more. Yeah, it was good.
That's crazy.
But I was just like, it wasn't until like I said, like I had that album in my car.
Which
I think you gave me at some point. Must have
yeah.
lent it to me. But yeah, so like I did enjoy that stuff just purely because it was probably more just heavy.
Yeah. And that was definitely something that we all could vibe with, was the fact that we were like, the heavier the better.
Yeah,
it
for
was
sure.
like, let's find the heaviest stuff. And then a lot of it was also, let's find the heaviest Christian stuff so we can play it
That
at
was
home.
something else I was going to bring up. It was just like, it was one of those things that was like easy to get into because your parents, like, my parents,
Mine too.
very religious, like your mum and that. And so it was like easy to get into because they were like, oh yeah, they're a Christian band.
Yeah. And like, look at the lyrics, like, and like, look, they all say that they believe in God.
Yeah. You can praise Jesus and be angry at the same time.
Yeah. Because that was definitely like I think, for all of us besides Gray, that, well, I guess Matt as well, he, like, we needed something that wasn't, like, because when you hear that, and especially as a parent that wouldn't have, because this would have, like, when did like hardcore deathcore, like there was obviously Slayer and stuff like that, but that's really nothing compared to, so it would have probably been like the late 80s, early 90s, and this
like
is
with
like
Pantera and stuff.
Like, so they wouldn't have
early
really
90s,
our parents wouldn't have had an experience of a band with it.
No, that was Christian anyway.
Yeah.
But I know like later on, it's a bit sad, but it's just like one of those things where later on down the track, I have heard of bands just being like, oh yeah, it was just a sales tactic.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty shit. But,
I think I remember there was also some bands that would just tour around churches and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
And they weren't even Christian. It was just they labelled themselves as Christian because they knew that they could at least get all the youth from whatever church they went to go, because they'd just be like, oh, it's music. Like, and the parents would be like, oh, look, they're not doing drugs. Like, go to this place.
Yeah, that's a good thing, I guess.
Yeah. Well, then, but I can't remember who the band was, but they also like smoked weed and shit after afterwards. Were like after praising Jesus.
Yeah. But yeah. But no, that was, just those two little EPs were definitely very, like, influential in my sort of, like, starting. Like, it would have been that, and, like, I've already talked about it, it would have been those two, or that mix album.
Yeah.
Watch Out from Alexis on Fire and, like, As I Lay Dying would have been the three albums that were, like, just influential in getting me into metal.
Which is really
like,
funny because
hardcore.
They are all guitar heavy.
Yeah.
Like,
know,
I guess metal kind of is in general.
Just like I'm just a guitar shill.
Yeah. But it's just interesting that, like, even in your history of it, like, because you've always, like, even, and now it seems more of a thing where you're like, that's something that you seek out, but back then it would have been more subliminal. Like, it wouldn't have been like, oh, I like this because of the guitar. You would have just been like, I like this.
Yeah, because I started playing guitar late too, so I would have only just gotten into playing guitar, and then that sort of stuff hit me as well. I would have just been like, oh yeah, the heavier the better.
Yeah. I remember
crank the distortion on the amps and shit. No.
I'm trying to remember what song. I think it's that one.
Giving Up Hurts the Most.
Yeah. So I remember us in music class and our teacher, we were doing composition.
Yeah.
So we had to create guitar, bass, drums, and a melody, I think, was what we had to do. Albion? Is that what it's called?
No, it was Sibelius.
Yeah. So we were doing composition in that. And I was a drummer, so I just did tabs on everything. And I remember doing a double kick in my composition. Yeah. And our teacher was just like, nah, that's not possible. No one does that. You need to take that out because that's not musically possible.
Yeah.
And I remember playing him.
That's funny.
and I played him that, and he let me put it in. He was like, okay, you proved me wrong. And I was like, yes, I do.
Welcome.
What, like 15, 16-year-old me being like, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you've just been schooled.
Yeah. He's probably gutted as they were still into it, eh? Why aren't they going to operas?
Yeah, and that was his. I remember that he was like such like
traditionals.
Yeah, but he also like his argument was he was just like, I'm not just into opera. Like I like other heavy stuff and like rock and things. No, you don't.
No, he didn't. No, he was and
definitely. That's not even like that intense by these days standards either. No, like, double kick, like,
nah. So, yeah, and that's what like Aaron would have been. Because how old is Aaron now?
I don't know.
What do we reckon? Have a guess before I open it.
Oh, well, he's got to be older than us because 90s. If he was around, so I don't know, probably like early 40s then.
I'm gonna go.
I reckon he would have been like 17 and 97 because that's when.
I'm not even gonna guess. He is 41.
Dang.
83. He's like pretty, like almost exactly the same age as my brother.
Yeah, okay.
Look what my brother's doing.
He plays guitar.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So yeah, what? He would have been like 16, 17 when he was doing that on the drums.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing that.
No.
I was fucking learning basic jazz.
Yeah. I think we've touched on that before. I was like, how did we not get like pushed to do like random shit like that? Like, I mean, it would have been pretty intense. I don't know. I suppose maybe we didn't grow up listening to, well, it wasn't peak Pantera or peak fucking metal and stuff.
Yeah.
When we were growing up.
And I think a lot, like I've talked, I think maybe I've talked to you about this before, but in my past, that's one thing that I appreciate about like friends' dads that I have now. And Matt would be one, but then Ash would be another one. Like, because my mum would just, because we had a piano in the house, so like music was relevant, but it was a lot more like gospel and like, because Brethren, like I don't know, and it just wasn't, in my head, music was always on in the background, but it wasn't like, oh man, I want to learn how to play that. But then like hearing my friends' parents, like Matt's dad showing Rocky Horror Picture Show is like, and Jesus Christ, is like, so musicals, but like rock musicals and like craziness, and that's when I would have heard Meatloaf and stuff like that. And then with Ash's parents, it was like Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and stuff. So I didn't get that from a real young age. It wasn't until I was like older that I was like, oh, there's like actual other good music from the past. And so I think that definitely, and it probably the same with you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My parents were into just like, they were never into anything rocky or anything like that, really.
No distortion on the guitars.
It was like
guitars?
Nah, yeah.
Like not even taking the piss out of
it was his guitars. But it would have been like it's just very like Christian stuff. Like, I don't know. And just like very, I don't know, things like, I'm just trying to think of like bands. I'm just going to...
REM or something like that?
Nah, like that sort of this like more super melodic sort of stuff. Like my mum loves ABBA and stuff like
really?
That sort of stuff.
I would not have picked that with your mum. Does she dance?
No, don't dance in church, mate.
Yeah, true. Yeah, sorry, my bad.
What was the other one? Like, she loves Cliff Richard as well.
Oh, yeah. So
that's
my uncle used to really like
it. Yeah. What was the other one I was going to say? The name's escaped me now.
So nothing from your dad that you remember him listening to? Was it all?
He was like Cat.
Bands?
I remember like Cat Stevens.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Like he's cool.
Yeah.
That was like a big family sort of like road trip CD.
That's like in itself is like a good influence, I feel, of like music.
Yeah. And there was like stuff like Queen as well.
Right. He knew he was gay?
Yeah.
All right. You couldn't listen to Suicide Silence, but he could listen to Queen.
Yeah. There's no devil worshipping.
Yeah, true.
What's the other one? Is it the song?
Genesis?
Let's got Albatross in it. What's the fucking band?
Song or band?
Song.
Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Oh,
so Fleetwood Mac.
How are you not a hippie?
I don't know.
It's definitely like along
maybe I'm just
the hippier side of
full
things.
rebellious me or something.
Yeah.
And I'm not that rebellious.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe my parents. Yeah, they grew up in the 70s. I suppose they might be hippies then.
Do you reckon?
Maybe.
Do you reckon they have?
Nah.
Like smoking?
Nah.
I don't know.
Maybe my mum. That's what she's so chilled out.
Listening to ABBA and stuff as well. And so with those two EPs, Did you have a moment where, like, that was prominent? But you said you like listened to the burnt CD of it and stuff like that. But is there like a defining moment of like where it became etched into you, like where it became your personality? Is there like a memory of like?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe not. Like, I vaguely remember that whole sort of, like, I hardly remember that much. Yeah. But, I don't know, there was, because it was all that time, it's definitely, like, just teenage growing up years. I just remember stuff like playing it in my car and just, was like, I don't know. There's no real, like, that's me now. I don't know. But, yeah. So,
because you don't really, is there any bands that you would say that are similar that you listen to now that would have been along the line of this? Because like I would definitely probably say this is closer to deathcore than it is to metalcore. Like, it's definitely like, it's like, what is the, do you know what it would be? So I looked up
the table nice and straight on the camera. Yeah, good. Yeah, that'll do.
I looked up the genre.
Yeah.
For I did Active Depression. That's funny. I will say that after. But as demonstrated on their first release, Active Depression, Underoath initially played a combination of hardcore, metalcore, mixed with black metal and death metal.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say it's closer to the black metal, death metal. But I see
at that time, for sure.
I see the... I don't even really see hardcore in there because it's definitely more just straight metal vibes.
Yeah. Especially what hardcore and metalcore were back then.
Yeah.
Like, I think more of, like, Norma Jean and stuff, like that sort of, I don't know, for hardcore.
Yeah. And the thing that I was laughing at is that Cries of the Past was also metal, but then Changing of Times was Christian. It was that genre. And then it goes metal again. So I don't get that.
Found the niche.
Yeah.
Here we go, welcome back. Technical difficulties.
Genre. So it has Active Depression. Underoath initially played a combination of hardcore, metalcore mixed with black metal and death metal.
Yeah.
And I was saying that I don't see the hardcore and metalcore, but definitely the black metal and death metal. But when looking at the YouTube thing of Giving Up Hurts the Most, someone in the comments said 4 minutes and 57 seconds is just a headbang masterpiece, and that made me think that is definitely like on the hardcore metalcore side of things. So I'll just play a quick little. Which, that's definitely.
It's funny how, like, hearing the... Sorry, it is definitely hardcore.
Yeah.
But, it's funny hearing the guitar tones because it is very, like, just like old school metal sounding too at that time.
I think that's also what sells it, is it does sound metal.
Yeah. That's cool. Glad we sussed that out.
Yeah, I'm glad we could decipher that.
Cool. Another thing that I was going to bring up, obviously seeing them live, that was like one of my... seeing them live, that was one of my like dreams at that time when I was a kid, because they were just like, they were the best after.
And how old were you?
I would have been like 15, 16 at that time.
Yeah.
So I think it was 2006 was Taste of Chaos, was that was like the thing.
Yeah.
Had to sell to my parents that we could go to Auckland and watch Taste of Chaos with all these bands. Same thing. The whole Christian argument came up again. I don't know if we should be going to this, blah, 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 because that was for me anyway.
Yeah. Did you go to the second one?
No. No, because it was only like 2, eh?
Yeah. Because I didn't go to the second one either.
No, it was purely that one. And I remember, like, we were sitting in the back of the van.
Yeah.
In the atomic van.
With our lollies.
With our lollies from Tubes.
The wholesale lolly store, and just had a box of lollies.
Yeah. And then, I had one, I think we were using your iPod. I had one ear and you had the other ear, and we were just like jamming in the back.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that was like one of my, at that time, bucket list things was like, definitely got to just like throw it down to Underoath.
Yeah,
and that was the ultimate. You couldn't get any better than that.
Yeah. I definitely agree.
So, they came on stage. I threw down, and I just remember the first song. I mean, this is obviously way later than what we're talking about, these albums, but in regards to myself, that's sort of like old school film sort of noise where it starts off, and I just remember the crowd going like absolutely
It's crazy.
shit.
And I think it was like I don't. This could be false memory, but I remember it was like red, and it looked like he had like blood on his hand and stuff, but it was just red lights. But in my young mind, I was like, this is so doom. This is so. I love that.
Yeah, it definitely was cool. And that was like the first time, because I remember like finding out, just going, oh, they've got like a keyboard player and shit like that, and then I was like, how's that gonna work? They don't really sound like that sort of band. And then just seeing him go fucking ape shit.
Yeah.
Like, holy
Chris
fuck.
is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had more energy than the rest of them, I think. Other than but it's a lie. Probably Aaron as well. Like literally trying to do like double kick, and he's like standing up off his chair just to hit those beats. I was like, yeah, you're hitting those hard.
Yeah.
And then I do have like envy for a few people as well, because I remember there was a certain friends group that had actually seen them walking around town as well earlier that day.
Oh, really? I don't remember that.
I'll bleep the names, but it's...
Oh, friend! Oh, really?
Yeah, they actually got photos with like Aaron and shit.
Oh, I do not remember that, but fuck, that's cool.
Yeah. Jelly.
Yeah, very jelly. It's like lemon jelly.
Yeah, damn. Proper sour.
Yeah, I'm sour about it.
Yeah. And then, I had seen them a few years later as well. At Parachute when they came. That was a bit of I don't know, they weren't as good then. I don't think. Maybe it was just the hype had died off for me. And it was just like, oh, cool, I get to see
What year was that? Was Aaron still in it?
Aaron was in it still. I think it was pretty much the same sort of lineup. I couldn't tell you what year that was. I can't really remember. It would have been one of their last ones that Parachute had before it disbanded.
Yeah.
So that was good. It was definitely like one of the bucket lists to see them.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm glad I did.
Especially before what's happened.
I mean, we don't need to go there. So, do you have any sort of, like, going back to that era, I guess, like, were they as influential for you, like, back then, listening to that stuff? I guess they sort of were a little bit, but as they were for me, sort of getting into hardcore?
Well, like, as I said, the music class and stuff, like, they were, like, my backup of making sure I could do it, but, I heard they were only chasing safety first, and then went into their back catalogue. And it was definitely the heaviest stuff that I was listening to back then. But it was just more, I think, because I just wanted to consume information, because Dallas, who is now in the Maylene and the Sons of Disaster or whatever, I used to listen to them. Do not like it. Listening back to it now, I'm like, the good on them for doing what they do, but like, I don't. That's not me.
It's not you.
And
anymore.
I remember back then being like, yeah, like this is like his other band, and I really like this, and I'd like play it. And now I'm like thinking about it, and I'm like, I was a loser, man. Like,
we're all losers, man.
Yeah. Like, but I did see, because I remember he was in an accident, and that was one thing that I wanted to, like Dallas, and he was in an ATV accident, which he suffered a severe brain injury and trauma to the carotid artery.
Carotid artery, that's in the old neck there.
Yep, why not?
Yep.
And then it says, as of 2018, Taylor is still recovering from the incident, having surgeries to recover his adrenal gland and sight in his left eye.
Damn.
Doesn't have anything else after, so I like don't know if he's fully. I haven't like looked into it further, but I thought that was a bit sad.
Yeah, no, that sucks.
Like I remember that coming about, and I think they all went and saw him and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if there was. I mean, there's obviously a lot of different members now, but I don't know if there was any beef between them leaving and stuff. I haven't read into it.
I don't think so. I think it was just. I think he just left. Yeah, well, it says he's still very good friends with the Underoath band and the lead vocalist Spencer, and was in a video with some Underoath members having fun at a recording studio. So like, yeah.
I'd say it's good then.
Yeah. Probably that Christian forgiveness or something before it all disbanded.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. So what would you
Closing thoughts on it?
Yeah. What?
If you haven't listened to it, I would definitely give it a listen. It's definitely out there. Peak Underoath for me would have been Only Chasing Safety and To Find the Great Line. Those two albums are definitely like their best for me, but it's a different story. But go back, listen to their EPs.
And what would you recommend song wise? Is there a song that you're like?
I mean, I like The Last.
The Last on Cries of the Past.
Yeah.
All right.
That would be mine.
And mine would be Watch Me Die on Active Depression.
Yeah. like I say, give it a listen. It's definitely well different from their this stuff, anyway, the new stuff these days. But yeah, obviously different band members and different stuff. So give it a crack. See what you reckon. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I think last video, just like
put down bands and stuff.
Yeah, put down bands and albums. Like, I know everybody's different ages and shit listening to this probably, but if anybody listens to it,
imagine if there's like some like early 90s, like late 80s, like that's doing what Underoath did. It's like, I don't know, because a lot of people will probably be like, this is sick, and then play it, and I'll be like, that's not the same at all.
Yeah. Because and make sure it's not make sure, but if it's hardcore, that's where we're sort of heading in that sort of realm.
We're definitely more into the, well, I'm what the drums sound like, and he's what the guitar sounds like. So.
Yeah, put it down in the comments. Definitely, I'm always down to check new bands out, especially back then.
Yeah,
definitely would have been something we missed because of just technology back then.
Yeah, we did well.
We did well for what we had.
All right.
But yeah, all right. See you next time.
Ciao, Bella.
See ya. Give me a high five. We got it. I'm just going to let this shit go flat. I don't even care.
Going to Japan.